Welcome back again to J&K Review. Today, on episode 3 of the podcast, we have Jumanji, the next level.
The next level.
The next level.
You'll know it's the next level because it says it in the title.
In the title. Yeah. Okay, so this is directed by Jake Kasdan. Jake Kasdan has done what? He has done, he filmed the first Jumanji. Well, not the first, the second Jumanji. Welcome to the Jungle. I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of the first one with
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, yeah. I'm a huge fan of that one and what they put together.
It is a good film. Just because I didn't see it whenever I was 5 doesn't make it not a good film for me.
I was not 5.
Okay, what, 8?
Maybe later than that.
Yeah, okay. Earlier than 10, you can just be 5. How about it?
It was great. And Robin Williams just made it better. But anyway, the last film, Welcome to the Jungle, it did touch base with the fact that Robin Williams' character, Alan, was living in the world, so they did acknowledge that, so it was great. I had to put that in there. It was great. But anyway, this one has nothing to do with all that. I'm rambling on.
Such a distaste just because I love that film so much. But that's okay.
These new Jumanji, we didn't get to do the first, the Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, no, we did not.
So, the fact that it's coming out of a video game system is off for me instead of a board game. The board game was great because you roll the dice.
You did not like that. I remember whenever it first started, you were like, no.
Yeah.
No,
you would roll the dice in the first one.
So mad, you guys.
It should be a board game. That was the whole like majestic, magical side of it. Now you've got this little video game, and I don't mean to curse. Oops, explicit. Beep beep beep. Oops. Anyway,
hold on.
Yeah, I know. We gotta get it in there. Oh my god. Anyway, it should be a board game, but that's a fair later thing.
Twisted on it. Let's just
Jake Kasdan. Okay, he directed the last one, and this one, and then you have the written by Jeff Pinkner, Jake Kasdan, and Scott Rosenberg. This hits theaters in December of 2019. It went on disc streaming March 17th, and it's a total of 100 minutes long, and it seemed longer than that. For me.
Okay. First off, just a little side tip for everybody, or a side note, I guess I should say. We tried to watch a film with everyone still awake, and you can imagine that was a bad idea. So it took a long time to finish this film. I actually lost count of how many times we had to pause the movie, but. Other than that, I feel like even if we hadn't paused it, it probably would have felt longer than what it is. Because it does seem to drag a little bit.
Yeah.
So the plot of this film is basically they're bringing everybody back. All of the characters have went on to college or work. They've all graduated high school. And the main character, Spencer, he's moved to New York. And we are going to get into spoilers with this film because it has been out for a minute. And I don't feel like this is a film that people are just like, oh my God, what happens? I can't
hear what happens.
Yeah. So I'm just going to spoil it for you.
It's basically what you think. You can pretty much guess what happens. So
yeah, it's pretty standard. But he's all sad, I guess, and depressed because he's moved to New York and his girlfriend from the first film where they became boyfriend and girlfriend, they're no longer dating. They're taking a break, and they're all meeting back at a coffee shop or some breakfast place, which, by the way, was never mentioned in the first film, but in this movie they made it like a big deal because it ties in with a new character, Spencer's grandpa, which, it was so cool to see Danny DeVito and Danny Glover in the film. I just want to throw that out there. It was cool. I did like that part. But I also didn't like that part because in the game, they had to add another actor. And then, can I spoil and say what the other thing was? Yeah. It wasn't even a person.
Or the horse.
They gave someone a horse. They had to be a horse. In they didn't even give him any kind of story arc in the game. They just made him a horse.
Well, that's a guy that plays in games a lot. A lot. That's Just the way, I mean, I understand that part, but
I didn't care for it. I was like, someone's
but
a
that
horse.
didn't even happen for like 3/4 of the film.
No, it did not happen till late in the film, but it was still weird. So anyway, sorry, I'm getting off track. But they all get together. They're supposed to all get together at this breakfast place. Well, Spencer's missing, and it's because he's so sad that he goes down into his basement in his house and finds the game from the last movie, and he tries to put it back together. And when he does, he gets sucked in, and they all kind of freak out at the breakfast place because they're wondering where he is. They come to his house, and his grandpa answers the door, and before you know it, his grandpa, this Danny Glover, the guy that's in the film, he's playing Milo, which is his friend, and they're all in the house together. It's at some point everybody's all in the house together, and they all get sucked into the game except for Bethany. I guess because you can only have 4 people enter the game, and that's it.
The character spot was full.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
At the time in the story.
Yeah, so that's what doesn't make sense about this film is they only add things when it made sense for them.
Well, it's just like a video game. I mean, I'll touch bases like sometimes, and I think it's cool, and maybe they should do it more. But there's so many characters at a certain time, and then when you get farther into the story, more characters get added in. So I understand that part of it.
Okay.
But anyway,
I didn't
just to touch.
Yeah, it seemed a little too convenient for me.
So anyway, to touch base on Danny DeVito and his character and Milo, which Danny DeVito, of course, is the grandpa, like Kayla said.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a history 15 years ago in this film. I guess they had an argument or they had a disagreement, and they Danny Glover or Milo retired, and Danny DeVito or the grandpa, I can't think of his name.
I don't think they ever really. They didn't say his name a lot.
I don't know
they
what
always
happened.
said, "Grandpa, come
Yeah,
with me."
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's what they called him.
So they had a
the
falling apart, and they had what they had was that they owned this restaurant, and the restaurant is where they go to eat,
which is the same restaurant that the kids were at.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Is the kids go to eat at that restaurant, and of course, Danny DeVito's character is very much against it, and they kind of hated each other, and so the movie is about them getting back together, close as friends. Because they used to be business partners, but even closer, like they used to be friends back in the day. Like it talks about high school and things like that.
Yeah, they were
So
close.
it's a really cool little friendship mending story that you watch, which is
but I didn't like
cool.
the ending, so
I like the ending.
I did not.
That was a good part. Maybe I'm turning out to like this movie after all. I don't know. I thought I was going to give it a bad review, but
I didn't like. Well, it's a bad review for me because I didn't like. It felt like a lot of the story arcs in this film went flat. And I know it's more of an action-packed film, and it's supposed to be more about the visuals and the laughs because it had a lot of laughs. I don't know. I just didn't like. Okay, I'll spoil it for you. Milo ends up being the horse at the end of the film. And whenever he's trying to say bye to everybody, he can't really say bye to everybody. So who do they let say bye to everybody? Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
Why?
the guy that can talk to the... Okay, so here's the thing is he's a horse, I understand. But...
Could they have not given him somebody else's body to live in in this game
But he can
forever?
fly. But the whole thing is you find out is
he
that
doesn't get to talk to people.
you find out that Milo throughout the story you find out that Milo is sick. So he obviously probably has cancer or some other diseases that he's only got a little bit of time left, right? So when it comes to the point of them leaving and they win, of course that's easy. It's not a spoiler. That's of course that's going to happen.
I just didn't think that he was going to be the one that wanted to stay. I thought either Danny DeVito would die or Milo would sacrifice himself because he was sick.
Yeah, I figured that too.
Like Nick Jonas's character, he's a dad. Like he has a whole family, and he's the one that has to go rescue him.
Yeah.
For this guy who's like on the last bit of the 4th quarter of life, people. Yeah. Okay, he's had a full life. He had a wife, a whole family. He owned a restaurant. He's been retired for 15 years. I don't even know people who get to do that, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, getting way off track as far as what we, think about the film, but I mean, I don't know. There were a lot of little plot things that I was like,
it was a lot of strung out. There was some funny times. There was some good times. The way that the actors, so if you got used to the way that, what's his name? Kevin Hart acted the character he played was good in the last one. Jack Black, him playing the woman was fantastic. Bethany was good. He does such hi guys.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
We should talk about that. Like, yeah. I love Jack Black as that.
He does it really well, and he kind of stood out as the most like. So we'll get into the. I guess we can talk about the acting right now, but we'll get into so Jack, the way they transition. So there's a point in time where they all go back to their normal characters from the second film, from the second Jumanji, and they just do it well. It just I wish they would have done it earlier. That's a complaint.
I wish they would have had it the whole film.
It was funny.
I don't understand why they switched.
Well, it was funny that to bring in Danny DeVito, the grandpa, and then Danny Glover. That was a good story.
Yeah.
It was funny to pull that in.
They sacrificed the other things.
But yeah, Kevin Hart did not pull off Danny Glover like
No.
Like you could just tell. And then everybody. Okay. There was a point where Kevin Hart, I felt, was more Kevin Hart. So you have him like this big deep voice. I'm Danny Glover, real slow. And then there's a point where it's like
way too much.
It's like this point where like, I don't know, maybe they took a day off from shooting or whatever, and Kevin Hart just come back. But then you could tell it was just Kevin Hart. He was more Kevin Hart than Danny Glover. And then it was like they took another day off from shooting, and then they came back, and then it was like he's more Danny Glover. Like, what is this? It's like. He kind of broke character there for a minute.
Even I didn't like Dawyne Johnson as playing Danny DeVito.
Dwayne, he didn't do a good job as a Danny DeVito.
Where he's trying to be
and
like this Jersey dude, where he's like, what you want to come at me? You want to come at me?
What is this?
I was like, oh, this is awkward.
It's not.
I didn't
wasn't.
like it. I didn't like it. I never got used to it, ever. I liked him way better as trying to play like a young kid. That one I related to a lot more and could kind of go, okay, that's realistic. But Dawyne Johnson trying to, it was a nice try, guys.
It was good. And it would have been okay if they would have done it for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, don't make it like more than
like, oh my God. But then do the switch and then take the other hour and a half of the movie and be like, okay, let's get back to where we were. What made it so good?
Both of those older men into the game. So I get that you have to have them play certain people. But I feel like Jack Black would have played a better Danny Glover.
It's much more. He was the most entertaining.
Why do you have to have Jack Black could have done Danny Glover's voice? I feel like
he's much better actor than most of them.
Yeah, I don't feel like. And Karen Gillan, she hasn't had. I don't know what other movies she's been in.
This is the only.
Oh my gosh. But she did a good job. But she's.
Karen, what is her name? Gillan.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, she.
She's sexy.
Wow.
I don't mean to do that. Hey, you said it about the silver fox on the last one.
Yeah, but I didn't use those kind of words.
I don't care. She's pretty. She's a pretty lady. She's pretty.
I'm sure she's also never bored a child and your child, so burn. Moving on.
Why do we gotta get so? I just think she's pretty. That's all. I'm appreciating.
Fine. Yeah, I'm sure you are. They have her in a crop top.
So what is this Aquafina? She's another actor in the movie. Aquafina. Is that really her name? I don't know anything about this person, and I hope that's not her name.
She was in Crazy Rich Asians. She was the one that was in the sports car that was super funny and kooky.
Her name's really Aquafina?
I don't know if that's her real legal name. It might be her legal name now, but I doubt that her family and parents named her that as a child.
I hope not. I don't know. I don't know why you would name yourself that as a...
Oh my gosh, we totally forgot that Roy McCain from Game of Thrones is also in the film.
He's the bad guy,
the
villain.
He was actually really good in the film.
Always. He's good.
Yeah,
but he plays the same character, the big brute.
Well, what else is he going to play?
His name's Brutal. Jurgen the Brutal.
Listen, when you're taller than Dawyne Johnson, what other roles are you going to get?
I get it. It's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Can we go back to Aquafina? I don't understand.
Well, what about her? I think she did a good job.
She did better playing as a Danny DeVito than Dawyne Johnson, for sure. It felt better.
Oh, you mean instead of Spencer? I felt like as Spencer, she was just being herself.
I don't know.
She didn't really embody the scared younger guy going through adolescence and kind of figuring out who he is. I think Dawyne Johnson does a really great job playing Spencer.
Right.
So
I agree.
Nick Jonas is basically Nick Jonas in this film.
Yeah.
The only thing that I had was Colin Hanks, the way he acts and the way he was with his family, that I'm like, oh, I hope he doesn't die. Like,
yeah,
I want him to be able to make it out of this game.
So before I get to the ending, which was my favorite part.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it was the end? Or
Yeah, no, well, I mean, no, it wasn't that bad. It was because of what was happening and how it kind of went back to the very first one with Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, we're not going to get there yet.
Okay, I mean, we kind of can.
We're not going to get there yet. No.
Why?
No,
What
I
else
want
do
to
we
talk
have
about the cons. I want to talk about what I didn't like.
I think we've covered some of that.
Okay, so some more of the cons that I didn't like was, okay, so I'm a big on the first one with Robin Williams, right? So when you let out, and I mean, this is where Jumanji started. This is the whole premise of the whole movie, was back when Robin Williams did his excellent thing, that the things that come out of the board game was terrifying. Like, it was like every roll was something. Bats, you had tigers, you had monkeys, you had the hunter that I can't freaking remember his name, but the same guy played his dad. Then you had the house fill up with water with the crocodile that was massive, and it was just like every roll was like terrifying.
And I don't seen this film.
Dude, I love this film. I used to watch it all the time as a kid. I used to watch it all the time, and it was just like, I can't imagine. Like, they in that film made you feel like I can't imagine being trapped there for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It would have been terrifying. And then you get here, and there's some scary, there's some things that you're like the monkeys in this one here that were like, oh my God, get after it. But for the most part, you don't see the rhinos and the herds of the elephants. You don't see the crazy monkeys like coming after you, stealing your shit. You don't see, you don't see some of the scary. You don't even see a crocodile in this thing. Like, there's nothing. What the first film makes you feel like is that everything is alive. The plants are alive. There's somebody hunting you constantly. There's just everywhere you turn, you are literally not the predator anymore. You're the prey for everything in this world. And then these films like lighten it up completely.
Well, yeah, it's a comedy.
I understand it's a comedy, but that's why I'm like,
yeah, they
come into dangers by like some like the video game way it does. It's not like presenting a world of like you're the prey, like I said.
But I think that what they did at the end kind of opens up the door for a third film.
Yes. So we can talk about the end. They go back to everything, not jumping into the game like they've been doing, but everything coming from the game.
Because there is, I don't know why this handyman is in their house, but he's in their house and they're all at the breakfast place. Danny DeVito, his character, he's about to go back into managing a restaurant, which is what he loves to do. And there's a really good-looking lady who is also in the cast of Cheers, just a little side note. As that's happening, I guess the handyman must touch the game. But then whenever he does it, for some reason, instead of them getting sucked into the game, which is what I thought was going to happen, all you see after that scene, it cuts to the street in front of the breakfast place, and those big birds just start...
Ostriches.
Yeah, they just start pouring in.
Which is at the first.
Yeah, it's at the first of the film. And, I mean, I get it. The original film does have more of a scarier feel to it than this one.
Yeah,
maybe not scary, but more intense. This one, it does get intense, but there's so much more comedy in it. Like, there's a lot of lightness in it, but I don't know. I like the comedy.
I mean, I like it. Okay, I like it. It's just
the comedy in this film actually is what kept me interested in the film.
Right. It's just Jumanji.
Plot-wise, I did not like where the character arcs were going.
Jumanji's just been different, and I like it. It's a different tone, and I wish they wouldn't try to change it because it was such a good thing. The board game at the end of the movie on the original movie, the board game was thrown over the edge. It was found in sand. It was there, right? I think if I remember correctly. At the first, it was buried in cement. Next one, he threw it over the edge, and then it gets found, and it's still making the drumming noise, but you still have the board game. And I wish so bad they would have picked up from there with the board game.
Yeah.
Like everybody's got to stop
and
make a roll.
You have to
You know.
remember what time we're in.
I know.
And,
Anyway.
I mean, you of all people should know what time we're in.
I mean, it's great that they added the whole video game aspect to it. That's fine.
I think that it added, especially in the first Jumanji, the first one of these that have started. Yes, of this time. What it added to the game was kind of to the movie was kind of cool because like the guy who's basically saying welcome to Jumanji, he's
still doing the same thing.
Yeah, he's still doing the same thing. And in that film you're just like, oh my gosh, what are we in? And it's just kind of cool because it really did kind of resemble a video game in certain aspects.
I mean, it does, and that's something that
I
wasn't
appreciated
in the original.
that.
No, I mean that's cool that they did it that way because if they're going to use the system, then they've got to do things like that, and that's fine.
I think that's why they wanted to do it like that.
Yeah. Anyway, we're just off topic as far as that goes. It's not the original Jumanji, and I love the original Jumanji, and I just wish we could go back to that where it was just a board game and there was no rules, there was no NPCs, there was no nothing. It was like, this is a terrible land that somebody that got stuck there had to survive literally like a caveman.
I think that it's coming to that.
Maybe it'll come back to it, and that's why I like the ending.
Enough people have said that the way that they left this film is opening it up for a third movie.
I mean, there is obviously going to be a third movie.
There better be, because if that's how they leave it,
they're not going to leave. There has to be a third movie.
I'll be
Question
pissed.
though, where is Kevin Hart, Dawyne Johnson, Karen Gillan, all the others? Where are they going to? Are they just going to come out of the game and be a character working with these other characters that played them as a character?
Maybe.
Like that would be nuts, and that could be really cool.
Because if pieces from the game are coming out, then
their
everything's
character has
got
to come out.
Yeah.
Are they still going to have Are they still going to have the same weaknesses?
I don't know. Well, if you're talking about the people that are just themselves, the characters that are just themselves before they become the avatars in the game, they're going to have their own strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to lose all those weaknesses or those strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not going to know all this stuff.
They're
going to be in the real world.
Yeah, they're going to have to rely on, they're going to have to rely on each other. If there is a third one, I hope that there is.
They're going to have to rely on.
Sometimes they make like an ending seem like the whole movie was.
That was such a good ending, and I know we're just going on, but that was such a good ending with that happening because it hits home for everybody that grew up with the original. It hits home because that stampede is like the stampede where everybody realizes something's happening with where their aunt, the kids in the house.
Yeah.
She didn't realize until there was a stampede of elephants and stuff that crossed the street, monkeys, whatever, that tore up the street, and she's like, what's happening? What's going on? Like nobody got it until things like that happen, and just the ostriches running by the restaurant.
Well, I love how right before they run though, Spencer's like, let's never go there again. Yeah, and then it's like, well,
we're never going there.
We've already agreed. They're coming to you.
Exactly. You got to, and then they step out and they're like, oh my God. Yeah. So they're going to have this whole nother adventure. And I think that's going to be really good.
Yeah.
I just don't know if Danny DeVito or Danny Glover, maybe he'll return as the horse. He doesn't really have to be there to be the horse.
No, he doesn't. I think that's why they did it like that. Danny Glover was probably like, look, I'll do one film and I'll barely be in it. And that's that.
I just hate seeing some of these.
Okay.
Going off the review, I just hate Danny Glover, and Danny DeVito. Seeing them so old is just kind of.
Yeah, but I liked.
It's like, oh,
I liked what Danny DeVito said. He said, okay, fine. We've talked about everything else. My favorite line from the film was him saying, "Getting old is a gift."
Yeah, he completely reversed because before he said,
"No, he just
getting
said,
old sucks."
Yeah, getting old sucks.
Tell you different.
But after they're through with this adventure and he's kind of got a new zest for life and feels a little bit more happy about his situation because his friend, chose to stay in the game because he didn't want to have to, He didn't want to. He wasn't going to die in the game, right? Yeah.
He's going to keep living.
Yeah.
And he's flying around. It would be perfect. I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah. So
only thing is, I wouldn't be stuck in there forever. Like
yeah,
there's no dying.
No way out because no one else is going to come to that game.
Because he only had one life left. So if he just decided to end it, he could just end it.
Okay, let's not get morbid.
Sorry,
it's a little much, but yeah, I enjoyed that line. That was probably my favorite line from the film. So.
Okay, so
Anyway.
Getting into the rating and what we recommend, I wouldn't spend too much money on this. It's a good movie. It's funny. But I think there's other things that if you're going to spend hard-earned money on to watch, I would wait until this is free or if it's really cheap.
Or
Talking
if it
really cheap.
comes out on, Netflix in a year. Who knows?
Yeah, I would probably wait and enjoy it then. I mean, it's something to watch. I would definitely watch it. It's just I wouldn't sink hard-earned money when there's other things to watch, especially at a time like this when everything's the COVID virus and everything that's going on. They're now offering movies in theater for $20.
But that's still a lot of money for
That's
people.
a lot of money, but there's a lot of movies out that I feel like are probably worth it. And I would just save your money, not spend your money on this. I would save your money and just buy one of the movies that are on theater right now.
Yeah.
Or
the home.
Just another rental that's $6.
Yeah. I think what was this, like $5 or so?
Yeah, this was $5 or $6 for us to rent. I mean, we rented it because we wanted to do a light, funny film, but it's just, it was good. Most of the film, I was like, whenever we hit the 1 hour mark and we had to pause it, and then I realized there was a whole nother like hour and 5 minutes. I'm like, I kind of wanted to just wrap up.
Over. Yeah.
So,
where's the end here? It did feel like it dragged.
I feel like there's a lot more, a lot better movies. That I don't feel like that when when the 2 hours is there, I'm like, wow, it's already over.
Yeah.
And this one at the hour mark, I'm like, okay, let's.
But is it
kind of
because
get to the
we
point.
paused it, or
maybe, or it was just there's times where I was just kind of not.
Really,
I just
into
wasn't.
it?
I mean, I was into it. It was cool. I liked the I liked the actors.
You just weren't
characters. And
yeah.
I don't know.
But you weren't as invested in the story. Yeah.
I didn't like the new
I get it.
characters. Aquafina.
Well, I was interested in how it was going to end, and then once I saw where it was going, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then the last bit where they have that scene at the breakfast, it was cool, but I still didn't like the character arcs. I didn't feel like they were fulfilled all the way.
Yeah. So anyway, good movie. Definitely. I mean, watch it. Don't spend. If you're gonna make a decision of, do I want to buy this with my hard-earned cash? I got $5, right? I got $6. I'm gonna buy this, or I'm gonna watch Invisible Man, or I'm gonna watch. What we just did, 1917.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait. Don't buy this one. Okay, unless you're just like, I don't want to be in a depressed mood and I want to watch something happy and just kind of out there. All right, don't buy this one. Go and buy something better. Wait for it to be free. Wait until you have some extra money just to blow it on something. Whatever. It's a decent film. Just, it's nothing to just write home about. Okay?
No, it's really not. But it was cute.
It was cute.
It was cute.
It's cute.
It's cute.
It's cute.
But
okay.
I don't know if I'd watch it again unless it was just on because it was on.
I wouldn't watch it again. I don't care about
yeah.
it now anymore. I'm ready to see the next one if they do what they show at the end.
The third one, you watch Jesse be like, oh, we have to.
They bring it into real life where we're not going into this fake world, and you bring it into real life. Then that's back to Jumanji, and yeah, bring it on.
Back to the original. Jesse will be like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. He'll be excited. Anyway.
All right, guys and gals.
Cool cats and kittens.
Yeah, you cool cat and kittens. We're gonna get out of here, and we appreciate everybody watching, and we're gonna be doing another review again. We're gonna keep it going. This is episode 3.
Maybe cats.
Oh my God! Please stop. I don't want to watch Cats.
I want to watch Cats so bad because I know it's gonna be horrid, but I want to see it.
It's gonna be so terrible.
I need to know what the fuss is about. Like, why is it so bad? I've got to see it.
Ugh.
I have to see it. I know. I got to see it. I got to see it. Anyway, please give us a like and subscribe on Spotify so you don't miss any new stuff.
Listen
Thanks,
up.
guys.
Thanks a lot, y'all. Have a good one.